The next question will start with Christine on tax policy. Tax policy is often an area of controversy in politics, but what are your thoughts on our current state tax system, and would you advocate for any changes in the Massachusetts tax policy?
So, over the past 15 years, our tax system in this Commonwealth has made tax break after tax break to corporations. And we have decreased actually the amount of revenue that we're taking in because of that. And I think our tax system is what we want our Commonwealth to be. We are able to invest in infrastructure and education and social services the things that we want our state to look like. It is a very hard conversation on Beacon Hill, but one that I would be a leader in having. I think we need to move towards a graduated income tax. I think we need to close corporate tax loopholes. We need to think about actually taxing wealth, like capital gains and dividends. We also need to look at tax expenditures, which are another way of spending through the tax code. They often don't receive as much scrutiny as spending programs, but there are some, like the film tax credit, that have kind of questionable benefit to the Commonwealth, but we are spending a good amount of tax dollars on. So I'm prepared to have that hard conversation and to talk about revenue reform at the state level.
Can you repeat the question?
No, I think I have it.
Sure, in 2 minutes.
We obviously need to reform our state tax structure, and I am totally in favor of a true graduated income tax for Massachusetts. However, that would take a constitutional amendment would be very difficult to pass, so we need to do something else through legislation. Increase our tax rate back to the 5.95% that it was, and also increase at the same time all the tax deductions and exemptions that would help to take, or would take the costs off of the burden of our revenue off of the backs of lower and middle income families. Carl was very good at getting corporate tax loopholes closed, but there are still a number remaining that we should, I would take great pleasure in closing. We don't want to have any new regressive taxes. We don't want an increase in the sales tax. We don't want to add any other regressive taxes. We definitely need to examine all the corporate subsidies and incentives. We need to determine whether they are actually doing what they were supposed to do, and if not, we need to look at that and say, is it worth it? Should we revoke this? Perhaps there should be a sunset clause where we look at it every few years to ensure that it's doing what it was supposed to do.